to decide who of these two teams will retain their playoff hopes and chances.
Yeah, let's wait and see how the teams will play out here. The observers, we see them flexing again with the camera angle, and of course, very much live. So as we see all the wounds and summoner spell choices. Here, it's a grasp sign against the Cassandra mid lane. It actually is Jane on the side, which I very much like, but they actually aren't going for lanes of shenanigans so far, which is kind of surprising to me. I would have loved to see one of those teams maybe trying to get the other team out, or maybe that's actually what happened here, and they just ended up going for the standard. You just think, they probably think this, so we just go this, and we just surprised it, but just going standard. And
yeah, we're probably 5 steps deep in the mind game. It's like, They think we go here, no, we go there, no, then they expect that.
That's exactly, just trying to surprise each other with the standard approach, either way. I wonder how this bot lane plays out, because like, gameplays itself, I heavily favor Shogun and Taki here, but Xayah Leona in the early game sounds disgustingly strong against Zeri or Khan. I mean, Zeri is usually surprisingly strong in these first 3 levels, but that's usually with an enchanter support, and now with the Rakan, I'm not quite sure if she's really that strong anymore, and I don't want to see them like 2v2ing Leona and Xayah very early on. I think they definitely would not want to win this one.
It's certainly a fascinating matchup. I mean, it used to be really bad for Rakan into Leona. It's not quite as bad in recent years, so I think he's gonna probably be fine. I don't really expect much action down there. If you do take a look at the summoner spells and also the starting items, once again, double cull, I feel like both of these players are once again content to just farm it out for 10 minutes. I do expect quite a bit of heat coming from the top lane, because those two champions and players know how to fight.
They absolutely do. It's also Doran's Blade Cannon, right? I mean, it used to be like the norm because Doran's Blade was the only viable option, as Cannon is a Marlonless champion and Doran's Swing didn't really give you anything. But the new Doran's Swing actually is viable, right? Because
so
it gives you some compensation stuff when you don't have mana on the side. So could have been an option for Yoshino, but he probably also wants a bit of sustain against something like a Jace that can poke you out. And Jane might just be the first victim of a gank. Elise is very strong.
Oh, it's a disgusting Q from Froggy. Should be an easy flash out for Jane. Or is it? There he goes way too low. Jane waited too long and the kill goes over to Froggy even after his disgusting Q missed Jane in lane. That's an advantage for SGB. Oh, Froggy needs to be very careful. Has the shield to walk away.
He does. And I think that was a very unnecessary death. I think Jane could just flash earlier.
Absolutely.
If he just accepts that this will happen. And Froggy missing the Q would just be enough to... He's back, he just TP'd into...
He just copied himself. His corpse was literally running around on the other side of the screen when he arrived back in lane. Oh, this champion is so stupid.
The death time was very short, but
it's so dumb.
The zombie form was very long alive because of it could keep hitting the minion wave and just keep hitting up, and Jane, very late flash, isn't really necessary. Kill goes onto the Cassandra. Actually, in the early game, I would favor the kill going towards the Elise. Something that you don't usually see, because Elise is more just like any jungler and enabling champion, but Elise getting fed herself would just enable her to have this very strong mid game where she can just absolutely one combo someone with Cocoon into double Q into everything, and then they just die. But I mean, of course, one kill for the laner, not the worst thing of all, and first blood bonus being there, Putin is very much in trouble here.
They saw Guri on the gank path, and they still forced the flash. A little bit silly from Team Flash's bot lane here, not to react. You can see he was actually, the water's actually expired now. But Guri was spotted on the path towards bot lane. So Team Flash overplay their positioning a bit. Shouldn't have been forced to flash, and now also going to lose a lot of experience and minions. I love this from Guri, doubling down on denying the minion wave, and Putin is so far behind. He's longingly glancing up at this minion wave, and all of them are dying. This is a really good execution for Saigon Buffalo on this not so successful dive, but very good gank.
Yeah, it's still a very successful gank, right? You didn't really let a kill, but you let so much of an CS lead and also an experience lead, right? I mean, this Putin Xayah is just so far down right now, and he is expected to at least win the early game a little bit against the Zeri. So far, he just can't quite get this much. And also, both ADCs on Cull, as we also saw in another series, means, of course, he will be a bit late in cashing that one in. So it might just be Shogun getting this mid-game power spike much sooner than his opposition will be, as we see the top lane very shortly here. It's very even right now. I mean, slight lead for the side of Yoshino, but also Hasmet having the wave closer to his turret means he can pick up more CS and will eventually equalize that one even more. It's a minimal difference, basically, in this lane. However, it is a Hasmet counterpick, and he's out of mana so far. Cannon doesn't have mana, so he's probably a bit more happy with the way it's currently going.
Zora needs to hit the E. No, he doesn't have it. Probably already used it to engage. And then it's just Fook1 clearing out the minions, so not quite good enough, really. They wanted to stabilize the bot lane and don't even get a single summoner spell out of Saigon Buffalo. Saigon Buffalo's players are very content just farming out the wave. Of course, they're a little bit annoyed that the enemy team is going to get a bit of a better reset now with the help of the jungler. But in the meantime, Guri will be able to start the dragon already, so it's essentially a recall timing for a dragon. You trade that every day of the week.
You absolutely do. I mean, this early Dragon definitely something that plays in the favor. I mean, also starting the potential Drake soul stack win condition, but also like early Hextech Drake definitely a nice thing to have. I mean, it scales better the longer you go into the game, but Hextech Soul, or Hextech Drake in general, just a Drake just removes a little bit of clunkiness from everyone, right? Bit of attack speed, bit of ability haste. It's so nice to have it. It's just such a feel-good Drake, especially. Yeah. It probably isn't even that important in the direct combat stats, but I mean, still you like to have it.
I love it so much. Every champion, like it just feels good on every champion, and especially on the champions that don't build early ability haste. 9 ability haste in the early game is so much, because going from 0 to 9 is such a huge difference, especially, on all the champions that don't usually go early ability haste. Just gives you that slightly shorter cooldown, as Zora is spotted on the ward, but he might still have the angle on Hasmid. There he goes, the gank is coming in, another follow-up flash. Hasmid is so dead, and the kill transition beautifully donated to the top laner. Great execution, nice roam from both jungle and support.
It was a very thick talent blade, I just gotta say. I saw Hasmid sidestepping that one and just kind of didn't, so he was snared, and Yoshino getting the kill. Very nice execution by Team Flash. Didn't even need to use either Flash or the ult, so that's a free pickup. Also the wave falling to the turret. Hasmid doesn't have a TP, so he has to walk all the way back, and
it's a walk of shame.
Yoshino, the decent CS lead, of course, for now. And you just now addressed it, right? Ability haste also so much in the early game, but from 0 to 9, it has, since it gets changed from cooldown reduction to ability haste, kind of has diminishing returns if you see it like this, right? So definitely the first bits of ability haste, the most impactful ones. So
and this is dangerous. This could decide the game. No, Fook gives his positioning away. Now Guri can just scuttle away as the big spider. It's very surprising. I mean, okay, it's not that surprising, but it's good to see Fook1 actually dominating the experience war in the jungle matchup, because Guri spent so much time enabling his bot lane, so they traded a lot for Shogun being ahead. And of course we know Shogun can certainly carry a game, but now Guri, after the enemy jungler has ganked 2 times already, still really far behind in farm, 10 CS, a level down. To be fair, he got the dragon, which took a bit of time, but still, it's Team Flash with the stronger top side for sure, and Saigon Buffalo should dominate the bot side matchup. But of course, Zeri, with an early advantage, doesn't really get off to dominating laning phase or anything. It's just going to be stronger in the mid and late game. So right now, I think Flash in a stronger position on the map.
Yeah, might just be the case as Fook1 is going for this gank in the mid lane. Forever is tanking. Guri's also there for the counter gank. All out is being used, and he can flash out at a Glacial Prism. Yeah, looking kind of iffy. But meanwhile, in the off-screen, Yoshino used his flash, used his ultimate, and just solo boloed Hasmid.
Still going here.
2v2 in the mid lane, they're still going. Yeah, they just hate each other. I don't know why they're really fighting. Maybe somebody insulted a family member from the other side or something. Either way, with that, Yoshino solo kill might just be the Herald for Team Flash.
Yeah, he used Flash, he's still full HP, so Hasmid is really struggling over on the top side, and as we teased in the pre-game, top lane is a little bit of an issue for Saigon Buffalo the whole season. One of the reasons they've been struggling is Hasmid not being able to withstand all the new top lane talent. Now, Yoshino is certainly not new to the top lane talent, but he's back to his best form, and just completely shut down Hasmid there. A solo kill for the top laner, as the game is super close. And the first objective over to Team Flash on the top side with the Herald secured.
Yeah, and that Flash Yoshino definitely popping off, using its slicing meds. I mean, Hasmid couldn't really fight against him, right? He tried to go like with the counter all in and just try to damage Yoshino, but he barely took any damage. It was kind of sad to see. And now the Rift Herald in the pocket of Team Flash. They are even in gold almost, dropping this one Drake. But you just outrested earlier, but it was Guri sacrificing some of his experience just to get Shogun ahead, and Shogun on Zeri can't really brutalize the lane as much as another ADC could, like something like a Xayah itself, or like a Lucian could maybe do. So, yeah, we're to be seen if Guri can keep having this impact. Ironically though, Fook1 on the jungle that needs less resources, actually getting more resources than the Elise did. So, for now, Team Flash definitely looking very, very strong as Fuquan hitting his ultimate power spike earlier on. Elise doesn't really have an ultimate, so she's kind of in a weird spot right now, where she also got this heavy AP build. She will definitely still deal damage, but
She needs to in this
straight up
game.
5v5 team fights, she can't really have any good impact, but she definitely needs to work with her pick potential to really justify the pick in general.
Yeah, and in this game she really needs to go heavy AP because she's the only real AP source. Now, Zeri does steal a decent chunk of AP damage, or magic damage I should say. It's like 25%, maybe 30%, so it's not completely AD focused, as Hasmid is gonna die very quickly. Yep, there's no chance whatsoever.
Another one.
Dora, okay, he doesn't have turret aggro, so he should be able to just walk away. But that's another successful gank. Fuquan has been everywhere on the map, especially top lane, to be fair, and they have made really quick work of Hasmid on his Jace, who's an 0-3 now. Now, Jace does have some comeback potential later on in teamfight's really strong champion, but for now, for the next 10 minutes, he's not gonna do much.
He's pretty much in the garbage bin right now. It's looking pretty rough. It's looking a bit like MSI for him, right? He just gets ganked over and over again, just dies to every gank, can't really use his flash effectively, and now so far, it's very much struggling. Just going this Eclipse spot as I just now see it. I mean, of course, a go-to core mythic item for the side of Jace, and he is probably just decently far away from completing it. Would need all the combined codes to really finish it off, while Yoshino probably can just now base and finish his, I think Rocket Belt is what he's going for, or otherwise Night Harvester could be an option, but I mean he probably wants to have this extra mobility, also the damage and movement speed itself from Rocket Belt definitely nice to have on a cannon, so he's definitely looking very juiced up for this mid game, where cannon is usually strong anyway, while the Jace so far is very much struggling. The gold is pretty much even, but Flash, we just noticed it over and over again, right? In the overall game state, definitely ahead so far.
Yeah, and I like Flash very assertively claiming control of the river because they are so strong right now. Yoshino could teleport in. They don't really have the greatest teleport wards set up right now for a potential flank. So Saigon Buffalo has an easy time walking back into the river, but I would really be very cautious on Saigon Buffalo's side to force a fight here. Yes, Froggy is decently strong. Yes, Guri is alright in the game, but if both top laners come down to the fight, Team Flash is gonna wipe them.
Exactly, they definitely need to be careful about the cannon. So far, he TP'd back to lane though, and there's no unleashed teleport yet, right? You can't really use anything else, so it would just be a TP to the turret. And that plays into Saigon Buffalo's favor, in my opinion, because the cannon is super strong up now, but the cannon can't really flank yet this way. This might just be a result of it, that Team Flash just decides it's actually okay to give this one up. It will just be a cloud wake in the individual stats, not really anything to write home about, just another potential stack for a soul for Saigon Buffalo, and will be a chem soul this time. And considering Saigon Buffalo getting the stacks, and this being one of the weaker souls at least, would be maybe a minimum of a win for the side of Flash, that this will be what the RNG really comes up in this game. But other than that, I mean, of course, every soul is very strong. And Shogun getting this turret on there, why is he able to get this?
Yeah, this is very confusing macro overall in the last minute from Flash. Maybe showing that some of the players still don't really understand it on the same level as some of the veterans of Saigon Buffalo's side. But that was just giving up positioning on the Dragon so easily when the enemy Jace is so far behind. Because I think if you look ahead in the game, if you get Dragon number 2, the Jace is in a much more of a hurry to actually get to items. Now, Saigon Buffalo can just chill for 20 minutes straight, because who cares about individual stacks of the what's it called again? Camtech Dragon. So you don't really care about the next few dragons, which gives Hasmid so much time to catch up, get to a decent team fighting state, and we all know Jace in team fights can actually do a lot of work later on in the game. So I really thought Team Flash would try to make a little bit more of a stand for the second dragon, try to unlock the dragon win condition for themselves, but instead they not only fumble positioning on dragon, they also completely lose control over the bot side, give up the first tower to Shogun, who is now so far accelerated. Look at his items. He can probably get to 2 items before Team Flash's ADC even gets to upgraded boots.
Yeah, and it was first turret as well. I mean, if it's just a Drake, I would understand it, but the Drake and the turret, I think that's just too much. They probably thought that they would maybe win this race to first turret, maybe. Like on Yoshi's side, as Yoshino has been very strong, but Zeri, just a champion that can deal with these turrets much quicker at this point of the game, where the AP scalings aren't really there for the turret hits. So Yoshino gets the turret, but he's actually late on this one. So now I think Team Flash just kind of dropped the ball a little bit and just gave, as you just know said, the Jace time to really scale back into this game despite being behind. I mean, we of course know Jace is known to be like this strong early game champion that kind of falls off later, but since the new items are in place, it's kind of not the case anymore, or not as much at least, where he can just go Eclipse, more mana, Serildas, and is very strong around these 2 or 3 item power spikes, and he does fall off a little bit, but not that hard, especially not against squishy competitions like Cannon or Desire would be here in this case, and he definitely will get more value and not less value if the game goes longer, and them getting 2 Drakes just means the game will probably extend by a fair bit.
Yeah, Jace is a bit like Caitlyn. Really strong early, if she falls behind, kind of useless mid-game, and then really strong late again. This is now the time of the game where he is really useless, especially on these items. So, yes, I really like to see Team Flash posturing aggressively, going for this Herald. Herald number 2 also secured by Flash. So now, can they actually break the turret line in mid lane to set up a little bit of an easier fight for the Dragons number 3, 4, 5, and however many are going to spawn? I hope they will put it to good use. For now, it's just a disengage again, as Froggy has a field day in the bot lane.
Absolutely right. I mean, he's also having a good game so far and getting this 1 kill donated by Jane to some extent, right? Him missing the 2-4 strike knock-up and still Jane dying just for flashing late was kind of unnecessary. And this could have been such a good game for Flash, right? I mean, if Jane doesn't die there, if they don't drop the ball in this Drake to turret rotation earlier on, could have been very much in their favor this game. But Saigon Buffalo, they are kind of holding on and more than that, and I think they kind of don't deserve that as much. It's kind of weird to say. As the next Drake is falling in 80 seconds, so just be a Chemtech Drake, bit of tenacity, bit of healing and shielding power. I think against an Elise it has surprisingly high value, or also the Cassandra, who definitely works a lot of his CC combinations, with the Q knockup being there and also the bus. But either way, it's probably just a stack for potential soul, and Chemtech soul, we know it, right? It's not the most liked soul in general, but I think as long as you aren't really getting one shot, which no champion really is, it's still a very strong soul.
Yeah,
because every soul is strong.
I think Chemtech Soul is just really poorly designed, because all the other souls give you something shiny, something active, right? And Chemtech Soul is completely passive. You don't really see it. There's no huge...
It's just stats, yeah.
Yeah, it's just stats, which is weird, because the other souls all have an active component, so I think it's just a weird design. It doesn't really fit the rest of the souls. So I feel like...
sign pattern thing, and we know how that one went. Maybe it was just right, overcompensating a bit too much.
It was actually fun to watch, though. It was broken, but it was fun to watch, Lee.
Fun and frustrating to watch, because it was actually Saigon Buffalo won this game, right? They were the ones who just went down the Nexus and just got aced, and then all the zombies just killed the Nexus. I think it was them.
No, Saigon Buffalo was the one team that actually managed to lose with the unnerved Chemtech Soul back in the day. But to be fair, their Rise died because it was bugged, and their Rise didn't come back as a zombie. So, yeah, they lost to a bugged Chemtech Soul, actually having them against Cerberus back in the day, but of course that's not the case anymore. Chemtech Soul is just a little bit of a sleeper. Still nice.
That was Artemis Samira, right? That was not really fair. You can of course lose to that one. I mean, Artemis is having the split of his life. I mean, yeah, Artemis won the Winter Split, not Cerberus. Either way, Herald charge now coming through from the side of Team Flash, and they can use this to get like some priority around this Drake. They aren't really syncing it with the Drake style itself. They want to accompany that Herald push, which is now the more conventional play to make. And Foggy's going, yeah.
Wait, this sign has overstepped his welcome greatly, but Rakan just gets executed instantly. Puddin is very far forward. Can they get on top of Puddin? As there's a tower going down. All the meanwhile, Hasmet is just pushing, trying to get some money under his belt. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. He's actually ahead in CS now after getting completely shut out of lane. Saigon Buffalo still with the HP advantages. One member... Oh, Yoshino, look at Yoshino. Yoshino is trying to get on top of Shogun. Shogun has cleansed Flash, though. And Froggy executed himself with the ultimate.
All out.
Yep. Actually jumps away. Now, this is not over yet. Hasmet has arrived. And look at the HP bar. Saigon Buffalo is actually winning this fight secretly. Oh, what? No! What have you done?
Wow.
Oh, the horrible misstep, and that's 2 kills to Saigon Buffalo. Suddenly they are on the front foot. That shutdown went over to Hasmet as well, and that's 3rd Dragon easily secured for the side of the Buffaloes.
And now I see what you said in draft, right? Cannon is strong right now, Yoshino is stronger, but Yoshino on Cannon, he kind of just wins lane and then just ins one team, but it kind of looks very, very doomed. He got absolutely outplayed by Foggy of all people, first of all, because his all-out denied a strong slicing Maelstrom to the backline, and then Foggy actually escaping, then...
Hey, now, what do you mean of all people?
I'm not quite sure. Either way, here we see the replay again. TP from Yoshino, that was kind of decent, and Froggy, yeah, very good all out to get Yoshino back then. And Yoshino, he got all out at first, so he should just not ult right now, I think. He should just maybe try to ult later, and Froggy actually got out of the situation. Hazmat arrives, and they initially killed Takiot, but they used so many ultimates. That was questionable as well, and yeah, poor Yoshino, right? This actually was not his fault. It was Pulin's fault, as you just know that, and yeah, Yoshino falls prey to this play, and it will just be Chemtech's sole point now for Saigon Buffalo. And I mean, even if they don't win this fight, right? Hazmat was pushing a turret in the top lane, close to getting a second one as well, I think. I mean, the minimap doesn't really show it, so it's probably not that bad, but Saigon Buffalo definitely pulling off ahead of this play. Now 2,000 gold up, Hazmat looks like a champion again, and 3 drakes to their side mean that they definitely put Flash on the timer right now.
Yeah, I think that's a huge swing for the whole game, because Hazmat is now out of his mid-game woes. He's gonna be close to Muramana transformation as well, which is a big power spike, of course. And then the Elise, who's kind of the sole AP threat, is actually ahead of the curve of the items as well, so you can't fully ignore her either. So, or even the 2 tanks that should be going almost full armor in this game into Jace and Zeri and stuff, they're not tanky enough at this point, so they need some more time, but they don't get the time because Saigon Buffalo's on soul point. So everything is now looking Saigon Buffalo, and honestly, it's one of the cleanest games they've played in a very long time, considering their many mishaps in the last few weeks.
Yeah, aside from the Hazmat early game, I just gotta say, either way, I don't want to be the party pooper here. And,
let's ignore the top lane for that.
Speaking of that outplay of Froggy and all people, I just kind of justified because I got to know Froggy as like the player of this winter split where he was neither winning skirmishes nor winning lanes and was just always down in CS and not really contributing to anything. I kind of got to know him as a bad player, and then he kind of just found his groove again, I just gotta admit. Froggy definitely looking better so far, and despite having a bad showing in MSI, we all remember that one, he's definitely looking like one of the better VCS mids yet again, so I have to correct myself on this one a little bit, as we see the gold being shown by the observers. He's up a little bit, but most importantly, this bot lane diff, right? It's Shogun being 2k gold up on the enemy AD carry, and Hazmat, he has been bullied quite a bit, but he's down 1k to Yoshino. Yoshino is on 2 items plus boots, but so is he, right? He's very close to finishing Muramana, and if he finishes that one, he's just fine.
Yeah, exactly. And on the topic of Froggy, I feel like the K'Sante is such a cool champion he has found for himself, because he has always been insanely good on these melee teamfighting champions. His Yone is legendary, his Aurelia is quite strong too, his Akali can do crazy things, so it's really cool that he's found this champion that you don't really expect in the mid lane. Now, we have seen it in other regions too, but Froggy is really one of the outstanding mid lane K'Sante players, because yeah, he wins lane and sets up stuff in the laning phase, but also plays teamfights so well. The way he conducted himself in the last fight was so interesting, because he didn't really play a tank, right? He kind of played like a Yone or an Aurelia, where he just wanted to disturb or disrupt the enemy, and walked away with like 200 HP instead of tanking and frontlining. So always interested to see what people can do with these new champions, and I personally really like watching K'Sante play.
I mean, he played like a fighter because he was one. When K'Sante plays all out, then he just is a fighter. I mean, you just have to play according to what your abilities really make of it. And Froggy definitely looking good in this team fight, especially with the next Drake spawning in 90 seconds. This will probably be Saigon Buffalo's next target. And also, like, the Jace is something that's really beneficial in the situation, right? It's just such a strong poke champions, and they can just make Team Flash walk into them, and that's just such an easy setup for especially Hazmat to land some empowered shock blasts, and if he lands a good one onto maybe Putin, maybe Yoshino, then the teamfight is maybe over before it really begins, and this could just net Saigon Buffalo a potential Chemtech soul. Hazmat just now also pushing up the top lane, going for a reset before potential Drake fight. He got a Hex Drinker in case that Yoshino really finds a flank on him. Hex Drinker plus Mercs means he can't really die to the cannon, or at least not very quickly.
Yeah, the cannon has a really hard job in the next fight, because look at what is available for Saigon Buffalo. Flash cleanse for their ADC, flash for everyone on the team actually, and exhaust is ready to be instantly employed on Yoshino diving onto them. So I feel like this cannon really has to do some crazy stuff to make it work. Oh, you just engaged before the fight happens. Elise is down already.
Yeah, Elise down already. They actually get the kill to get prison, but the fight still not over, I gotta say. Froggy just now getting Yoshino into the ultimate. Oh, Yoshino's ultimate was not good. That should have been...
Oh, Yoshino, what are you doing?
No!
Oh, now Shogun is ready. Shogun wants to go. He still has his ultimate auto attacks. I think they're going to run out soon. Look at him. The animation is still running. He's still... Yeah, now they're running out. But that's... The smite is down for 12 seconds. So Saigon Buffalo... Oh, no, Taki. Taki's getting caught. But Taki runs away to the dragon. Oh, wow! This is an insanely aggressive engagement. Putin in no man's land. Putin is trying, but Putin is down. Now, Fook is absolutely nowhere as well. That's the smite. That's the jungler. On the other side, Jane can't do anything. They might have just lost the entire game to 2 blast cones back to back. Oh,
it's the same blast cone as well. The Drake Blast Cone, definitely the MVP of this game, as Saigon Buffalo now will claim this Chemtech Soul. And I like the idea, but they did it too early, I think. I don't think the whole team was really ready for the play, otherwise Putin doesn't need to Featherstorm instantly, and this nets them eventually this Chemtech Soul. However, I mean, they probably felt forced because Guri was still dead and they were going for the fight, but they were just off sync, while Yoshino with the early slicing Maelstrom, then face planting into this area where you could just be focused down. Yeah,
and it's Putin again!
Also, and yeah, they also just didn't bring Leona with them. If Leona was with them, they can at least do something against the enemy Zeri. But like this, it was just Shogun saying thank you very much. Just killed the enemy AD carry, and there's just no threat onto him whatsoever. The Sejuani, the Sign can't really kill him, and they can just slowly feast on their bones. Kill the Sejuani, kill the Sign, kill the Sign again because he becomes a zombie. And yeah, and then kills the Chemtech. So...
Yeah, this looks like such a fun Zeri game to play, because Sedge and Cyan can't ever do anything against you. The cannon is kind of neutralized by your front line and always kept away from you, so you don't really have to worry about the cannon. The only champion that can really get close to you, Leona, doesn't really have the mobility, so Shogun gets to do stuff like that.
What?
Oh my god!
He is lightning. I wonder if he did more damage than everyone else combined. It's getting close. I think it's not quite there, because it's like 8k damage that
not
he
quite.
flashed it, and
No, it's not quite
3.5 on Jace. But it's close, like
more than the enemy
Shogun
team.
against the world, and Shogun is winning so far.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to talk about this for the second game as well, as he just collects another kill, because Saigon Buffalo invested very heavily in bot lane, but when your ADC is called Shogun, why not, right? You just first rotation Zeri Rakan, it makes no sense whatsoever. You play towards bot lane, it just carries you in team fights, and yeah, I mean, this is kind of Cerberus's way to go, normally, just protect the Artemis, but Shogun is certainly good enough to play this kind of style as well, and his Zeri has looked resplendent in this game.
Yeah, definitely making arguments to be the best ADC in the league right now. And I think they might just ban the Rakan instead of just picking it so Zaya doesn't have a Rakan buddy over there. Either way, re-engage coming through for the side of Team Flash. They might just go for this defense play. But very huge Rakan play from Taki. Maybe that's why they actually play the Rakan and don't ban it. Jade is dying first.
Shogun is ready.
The backline is alive.
Here he comes.
Just in the back foot. Yeah, Soa, Dion, and Gui getting the kill over there. They just go for the inhibitor. They don't go for the finish quite yet. Well, actually, maybe they do, because the bot lane push is there. That's one inhibitor turret falling. Then the second inhibitor going down as well. And they might just go for more here. I mean, the wave clear is not really potent, right? It's just Cannon and Zaya. It could be better, but...
Yeah, it doesn't look like they can find anything. Here's Shogun. Yes, he doesn't have his ultimate, but he deals insane damage still. And, of course, Tasmid is now level 16, he has all the items as well, so he deals a considerable amount as well. This has been the least impressive cannon with a 3-0 lead I've ever seen, as Yoshino does absolutely nothing as he sneaks out of base.